The South African National Defence Force is preparing for the return of the final two groups of troops this week. The SANDF says it is satisfied with the progress of the compulsory demobilization process the troops participate in upon their return. More than 1,000 soldiers have returned between the 13th and the 24th of June from the Democratic Republic of Congo after their SADC-led mission was terminated in March. Newzroom Afrika's Scara Mafokoane is keeping an eye on these developments from the Tempe military base in Bloemfontein as we await another group returning today. Scara, good morning. What's the latest?
Good morning, Iman, and to our viewers. The latest is that second last flight will touch down here in Bloemfontein in the afternoon, around 2 or 3 o'clock, somewhere around that time, but we'll get confirmation a bit later. Here at Tempe, we're told that at least 1,700 members who have landed thus far have undergone that demobilization program. A short while ago, Iman, I must say, 6 buses left this military base. On board those buses were the troops, the 6th batch, who landed at least 4 or 5 days ago. So their program finished today, and they got onto those buses to go reintegrate with their families and loved ones. But joining me, Iman, is members of the SA Military Health Services, and I'm going to be joined by General Sihluhu Tulo, Colonel Fisachi, who is a psychological intervention, and Colonel Mekwe of social work intervention. But let me speak to General Sihluhu Tulo. General, thank you so much for being with us here on Newzroom Afrika. Over 1,700 members that you and your unit have attended to. You're telling me that you were satisfied with the progress of the demob process.
Good morning, Scara and viewers at home. Yes, the members have been arriving since the 13th of this month, and so far we have basically then demobilized that just over 1,700 members, and the processes that we are running is the psychological debrief, and for this grouping we have actually started with one of its kind screening process, that is the comprehensive risk identification screening that is run by 3 categories of the psychologists within the South African Military Service. The clinical psychologists do the individual interviews of the members. Then we followed by the research psychologists that will be doing the data collation, because out of this process there is going to be a research document published that will then be peer reviewed, and for us just to see this new screening process if it works. And then we also have the industrial psychologists who basically then look into how this whole process impacts the South African National Defence Force as an organization.
And surely you hear different stories from the members according to their own experiences, and I know you can't go into detail about those some of those stories, but just as an overview, what sentiments are you hearing and assisting these members?
Scara, rest assured that the processes that we are running between the social work and the psychologists, social workers do what we call therapeutic counseling, and that works more about reintegrating the members into with their families, with the communities, and even with the workplaces. So they are prepared for unexpected demands and even challenges, because they were out of the, they were away from their families for the longest of time. So, just for a father or a mother who hasn't been around, there are members of family who were left home who've been fulfilling their responsibilities. So they are taught how to slowly take over those responsibilities without breaking the family cohesion. So things like, let's say members might be faced with maybe separation or even divorces. Such things are taken into consideration during this. Psychologists will then also deal with the traumas that members experience that side. Those who fill in the questionnaires after they are captured are flagged. Then those ones will then be referred to their resident psychologist back home to carry on with the treatment, now like therapeutic going forward up until they are then cleared. Because what we do then with that is that after 6 months, there is a post-deployment follow-up that is done back in the unit. And then by month 12 again, the same process is done for those who are flagged to be heavy. Maybe they were traumatized or they might maybe have suicidal tendencies. They are followed continuously while they are back at their home units. And just to add on that is what we term psychology first aid. We would, as the South African Military Health Service, we would want to thank leadership of the South African National Defence Force, because members' reception at the airport, seeing leadership that we care about them. When they touch down, we touch them, we hug them, we welcome them back. That helps, because by the time they reach the psychology processes, they have already been, given some form of first aid. If they came unhappy about this and that, because upon their arrival at the units, they get blankets, that care and comfort. That is what we focus on for our processes to be successful when we do the demobilization. So on that, we really want to thank the sponsors, the leadership of the South African National Defence Force, and specifically now the host, Chief Joint Operations, and then the General Officer Commanding of the JOP headquarters in Major General Tulare. It is very important, because we requested all this, and what we requested at the South African Military Service were really availed, so that the members get a warm meal for the first time, they get a warm shower. So by the time we start our processes, they are in a very good frame of mind to be able to be demobilized.
Just lastly, South African National Defence Force has been applauded even by the UN as one of those forces where, there's a growing number of female soldiers. How do you treat then the two when you're demobilizing in terms of males and females? So surely there has to be a difference in the way you approach the two.
Scara, I would actually say there is no difference, because a female soldier is a combatant as it is a male soldier. So their debrief is basically conducted in the same way. It is just that then when it comes to the reintegration part, what a mother is to their family, that is also handled differently. But for the combat debriefing side of it is that they were exposed to the same traumas as it is the male soldiers.
And here you're talking about members of the SANDF receiving the debrief. Any assistance extended to their family members?
The assistance to the family members will then be taken up by the social workers and psychologists that are at their units. Because from here, what we are basically doing here is more of a screening. So those that need follow-ups will then be referred to their units, and then they can also then go and consult as families.
General, thank you so much, General Tulo and Colonel Fisachi and Colonel Mehwe. These members, Iman, are with the South African Military Health Services. They have been taking care of those over 1,700 members who have returned this far. We're told that in the afternoon, at least over 200 members will be landing. This would be the 8th group. And what I didn't mention as well is that last flight is estimated to arrive at least by the 30th on Monday, we're told here. So what is happening right now, the 8th group, which landed about 4 days ago, which landed yesterday, they began their demobilization today, this morning. On Saturday, their reintegration process will start. They will leave this military base. And on Monday, the 30th, the last group will arrive here in South Africa and begin their demobilization program sometime on Tuesday, Iman.